Hello there, this is Scott Tanker, host of Breakfast with the Boss. You know we're here each and every Thursday from 9:30 to 10 and 10 to 10:30 here on RVN TV. We love having you join us. Why? Because we have people that can help you. Not only are they from all walks of life, they can help people from all walks of life. They can help you professionally. They can help you personally. They can help you deal with your kids, your dogs, your fish. It doesn't matter to me as long as they have a purpose and a passion and they're moral and it's legal. They're on this show if they want to be on this show. And I am really glad to have someone with me today who not only can help you personally, but professionally too, because he has a lot of experience in many different things. Say hello to Scott Aaron. Scott, how are you?
Scott, pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you too. Now,
Absolutely.
You are an expert in my mind, but by the way, everybody's an expert compared to me, but you're even more of an expert. You're a super expert in this LinkedIn stuff.
Yes.
I am old, and I'm not real good at this, so I want you to back up to go forward about what you do, how you got there, your aha moment. Tell us how you are and who you are, and what are you doing today?
Absolutely. So to talk about where I am now, it's always best to go back to where it all began.
We need the backstory, right?
So my traditional background is in health and wellness. Mm-hmm. I owned 3 health clubs in Philadelphia. One was in Old City, one was in Northern Liberties, and my most recent one was in East Falls, just outside of Manayunk. I was a full-time personal trainer. It wasn't always my passion. I was a big music lover, so I toured around seeing concerts in my teenage years. Mm-hmm. My father was the big motivational drive in fitness. He worked out his entire career and then ended up turning his passion to profit, opened up our first health club in 1996 in Old City. And I really believe in being authentic and real and genuine. I think that's a very, very good character trait for people to have, because you hear it all the time. Everyone sees the glory, but they don't know the story. So for me, everything kind of took a big turn. When I was younger, I was not a very assertive kid. I was bullied and picked on a lot. But I just thought that was normal. That was my role. So I really learned how to adapt and accept who I was for who I was, but I never got down on myself. So over time, I did gain the confidence that I have now today. But when everything kind of took a turn, I was around 18 and a half. My father was in the health and wellness industry. Prior to that, made some unconventional business decisions that consequently landed him in federal prison for 2.5 years. Oh, and we were running our family gym. So at the time, I was at University of Pittsburgh. I was pulled out of college, and I had to re-enroll at Temple, which I graduated from with a bachelor's in HR. Mm-hmm. And I began running my family's health club to support my mom and my sister. Quickly fell in love with the business, quickly fell in love with health and wellness, then got my personal training certification, my sports nutrition certification, and dove in head first. And this was at 19, so I joke with people and I tell them that I've always been psychologically unemployable from day one. I've never had a boss, I've never worked for anyone, I've always owned my own businesses.
You are absolutely unemployable by anybody.
Yeah,
I'm semi the same way, so I don't want you touching anybody else.
Yeah, and that's I'm okay with that.
Right, even if you do it wrong, I don't care.
Exactly. And that all led me. I wrote a book almost 2 years ago called Good Guys Always Win. Mm-hmm. And this book was I wrote it myself, self-published it, because I wanted to tell my story and my journey. Right. Because I really believe that everyone has the power to achieve everything in their life. It doesn't matter what path you're on right now, that could all change tomorrow with just making one new decision. So as I got into my career, my father came back out of prison and we began to run the clubs together. One gym turned into 3. And I then had a thriving wellness business, but what I learned in being as a personal trainer and sports nutritionist is that your time is only good for the amount of hours that you work. Right. This wasn't a 9 to 5. This was a 5 to 9. Right. I was up very early. I was home very late. Right. And almost 6 years ago, my son was born. His name's Taylor. He'll be...
Life changed.
Life changed. And for me, it was one of those things where, all of my time and my energy and my efforts are being outside of the house. Mm-hmm. I wasn't able to spend time with my family because recently my great uncle recently passed away. He lived a great life, 87 years old. He was an amazing man, and he always used to tell me and my family, He goes, the one thing you always have to remember is that family comes first. Family is everything. And I kept replaying that in my head, and I knew that I had to make some sort of change in my life.
That's a painful thing that you have to recognize sometimes, because it's not always what you want it to be first.
No.
But if it does come first, it typically rewards you in the long run.
Yeah, you know, everyone is looking for their own path and their own way.
Yeah.
And for me, when I started to realize that I needed to do something different, a friend of mine asked me, he said, you know, you're doing the training thing, you're doing the gym thing, you're doing the nutrition thing. What's your plan B? And I said, my plan B?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. He goes, God forbid, just God forbid you get sick or injured where you can't
do that.
Train.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? And it was this aha light bulb moment. I'm like, you know what? He's right. I need to do something not different.
More concrete. Yes.
But I read something that the average millionaire in the United States has 6 different streams of income. 6 different streams. And when I took a look at myself in the mirror and my business, I realized I had 1 stream. I said, I need to start doing more. If I want to advance myself in my career, in my life, in my legacy that I want to leave behind for my son, I have to start doing more.
Right.
And that's what I started doing.
And the more was?
So I started doing network marketing with a wellness company to provide my clients that I was still working with nutrition plans. And then I remember about 2 months in, I was sitting on the beach on a family vacation, and I got an email from the company that I partnered with, and it stated that I just earned $600 that week from the beach, in my beach chair, on vacation. And I said, wow, you can create income from wherever you are. So it was this aha moment. It wasn't the money. It could have been 60 cents.
No, it was just the connection.
It was the fact that I made money on vacation. I was used to spending money on vacation.
Right.
I made money not at my gym or at a training studio, and I made money not training a client.
We want to hold that thought. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fascinating story about someone whose aha moment was, I can only do so much in life. I need to find ways where I can make money while I'm not working at it. Meaning I've created something that people will buy. And whatever that may be, a process, a product, a service. But that's what it's all about at some point. If you want to stop working a little earlier, find ways to make money while you're sleeping, as I say.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back. I'm with Scott Aaron, a very interesting man who has a great backstory, and he'll tell us more after these messages. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Christine Patton, the Juice Girl. The Champion Juicer has been my juicer of choice for years. Whether I'm making a glass of juice or a large batch of juice for my juice bar. These juicers are simple to use and so easy to clean. Champion juicers are masticating, cold-pressed juicers. 2 models are available, the Classic 2000 and the new Elite 4000. Besides juicing, both models can make frozen fruit, smoothies, nut butters, sauces, and even baby food. The Elite 4000 Champion Juicer also excels at juicing greens and wheatgrass. These juicers deserve to be called the world's finest. For more information, please visit my website at juicegirlpharmacy.com or championjuicer.com.
Welcome back. This is Scott Tanker, host of Breakfast with the Boss, each and every Thursday on RVN TV. I'm with Scott Aaron, who is a really fascinating person who started out, I'll quickly tell you, started out at the University of Pittsburgh, maybe in an education field, and then when his father, who was really sent away for 2 years because of some bad business decisions, he took over the fledgling gym business, and not only did it flourish, it's successful, now it's got 3 of those businesses, and he had an aha moment. He said, if I have to make money while it's only my time, that's too hard. I'll lose time spending with my family, I'll get stressed out, I go burn myself out. Is there a way I can make money that, yes, I'll use my brain and my services, but not 24/7. And that's where we left before the commercial. And I want to ask the next question is, so what are you doing now that creates this wonderful feeling that you can sit in this chair and talk to me and know that you might be making some money?
Yeah, sometimes it's such a loaded question, but what do you do? And I sometimes sit there and I'm like,
I'm not sure.
What do I do?
Write it down. I always tell people to write it down.
Yeah, so when I started having the success that I was having with my network marketing business, I started giving time back to myself. I stopped doing the 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. training clients. I stopped doing the 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. training clients. And I started getting some life back because for me, I was doing about 75 to 80 hours a week of personal training.
Right.
And that was no time. I mean, there were no weekends. I would take half days on Saturday. The only day off I would get was Sunday. And then that was basically being an anxiety and stressed out about the fact that it started over on Monday.
Right.
So I put in a lot of time, energy, and effort to really building my network marketing business, and I built most of my business and still continue to build my business through the means of social media. Within 3 years, I was actually able to create enough residual income where I was in July 1st, actually July 31st of this year will be 2 years, I closed my last gym and retired from personal training for good. And it was an amazing 18-year run. I spent almost 2 decades with 3 gyms and over 60,000 hours of personal training, but I knew I could do more. I was always a natural motivator and inspirer and coach. And I started having a lot of success with LinkedIn. And you know, when you first get started with any online business, we are in the age not only of the side hustle, but we're in the age of social media. It is, I remember being at the University of Pittsburgh, there were no this is 1997. It's not that long ago.
It's only 20 years ago.
I didn't have a cell phone.
Right.
I did not have a cell phone. And now we walk around with our iPhones and our Samsungs or whatever. And it's, all I need is Wi-Fi, and I'm connected to the world. And I'm connected to my business. And that's what I realized. So when I started using social media just to post my life, to let people into me, it started to naturally build my brand. And the one thing that I started to acknowledge is that, one, I gave up cable TV over 3 years ago. I canceled my cable. I don't watch TV anymore. Do I divulge in YouTube or watch some shows? Absolutely. But I was finding a lot of my time was going towards things that were not bettering me. And I started to see a lot of people starting to use social media as outlets for complaining. You know, life, weather, traffic, government, things that did not feel good. So I did the opposite. I started using it for positivity, for prosperity, for inspiration, really leaving people better than when I found them.
Right.
So I was using Facebook and Instagram just like everybody did, but I was looking to level up. I was looking to start talking to some higher end professionals. Maybe they were ex-professional athletes or CEOs, or they owned their own business. And I turned to LinkedIn. And there were a couple reasons why. Number one, I read something that every 100% of Fortune 500 companies have a presence on LinkedIn. It's the only platform. So that told me one thing, that there's some big players on there.
Right.
So if you want to achieve great things, you have to, number one, surround yourself with great people.
Right.
But number two, be in a space and a platform where the great people hang out. That is not to say that great people don't hang out on Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
But I'm a numbers guy. So the average age of someone on Facebook and Instagram is 18 to 29 years old with an average household income of $30,000 a year. So if you're in a business where you are providing a good, a service, or a product, depending upon what your price point is, whatever you're selling, someone that's only making $30,000 a year, that sounds like a lot of money to them. When I took a look at LinkedIn, where the average age is 35 to 44, with an average income of $100,000 a year, that said something to me. That these are people that see the value not only investing in themselves, but investing in others.
Right.
And I dove headfirst in. The other big glaring thing is that I read something on businessjournal.com. Two things. Number one, They said that LinkedIn is the most underused social media platform today. And number two, for lead generation purposes, which is what I do, I focus on generating leads for my businesses, but showing other people how to do the same thing. They found it 277%. 277% more effective than Facebook. Now, that is not talking about Instagram ads or Facebook ads. That's a whole separate show.
Right.
We're talking about the general platform of social media, the regular Facebook page,
Hello,
the
how are
regular,
you? Right.
yes, the regular LinkedIn page gets you 277% greater lead generation productivity than Facebook.
So you're all about helping people using LinkedIn to further themselves, either business, professionally, whatever the case may be.
Yes.
And that's your service at this point.
It is.
And you use your time to do that? Or
I do. I do. Okay. So I have I have online courses on my websites.
Excuse me.
But I also do once a month master trainings where I take small groups through, but I do have some one-on-one coaching for people that want to get the best return on their investment.
As quickly as possible.
At
right.
7 to 9 days. 7 to 9 days of working with me, with what I can show you on LinkedIn, you will have results, and that's a fact.
Stay with us. I'm with Scott Aaron, who will teach you how to make money or to make business or to make relationships or to make connections or to make referrals. The only thing you can't do is make pancakes on this thing. But anyway, he's here to help you. Stay with us. Scott Aaron and Scott Tanker here. We'll be back in 1 minute to talk to you a little bit more about how he does it. Stay with us.
When did you see the sign?
When I needed to jumpstart sales. Build attendance for an event.
Help people find their way. Fast Signs designed new directional signage.
And got them back on track. Get started at fastsigns.com.
Hi, I'm Sylvia, the wine entrepreneur, host of a brand new show called Cooked and Uncorked on RVN TV. Every week at noon on Wednesday, we're going to introduce a brand new wine or spirit with a different chef and their cuisine. It's going to be an exciting way to learn how to pair your food, to sip wine from around the world, and to have a good time. Be there or you might miss your next great wine or your next great meal.
Got a quarter?
Welcome back. This is Scott Tanker, host of Breakfast with the Boss. I'm with Scott Aaron. This is our final segment, but I do want you to come back to tell us more about what you do.
Absolutely.
But right now, I want to talk about the LinkedIn stuff you do. We left the last segment where you said LinkedIn is what I do, is how I help people, and tell us how you go about doing that.
So I have some master trainings. I do them once a month. You can go to my website, www.linkedleadsgeneration.com. Under my services, it always has the most recent or the most upcoming master training, and you can just click the register button to get your spot. It's one of those things where I want to give back as much as I can. I was getting such great success with LinkedIn myself personally for my businesses. I remember working with my friend Joe Alonzo. I think he's watching right now.
Hey, Joe.
And you know, I was taking him through some of the principles and the things that and people said, well, who taught you how to do LinkedIn? No one. I did.
Right.
So there's a great book that everyone should read. It's called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles.
Okay.
And he says, instead of living in competition or living in comparison, live in creation. Right. Stay in your lane and just create. And that's what I did. So I started to show Joe what I was doing. 10 days later, he shoots me a text message. He goes, dude, whatever you showed me, it works. I have 14 calls set up this week for people interested in hearing about my opportunity. So I get him on the phone. I'm like, what do you mean you have 14 calls? He goes, what you showed me, it works. You need to do some videos or training on this. And then that gave me the idea.
This is what I should maybe do.
So
Yeah.
I started creating some videos that people could buy, and then I started a one-on-one coaching program. Then I started doing some speaking engagements, and this is going about 2.5 years ago, and people started to get results.
Connect with this stuff.
And I quickly learned the power of LinkedIn. Number one, Facebook only allows you 5,000 connections. That's it on the general platform. LinkedIn allows you 30,000 connections, 6 times larger. I grew my network from 500 to today, 24,800 in 2 years.
Wow.
I've gotten on about 20 different podcasts, started my own podcast. I've done trainings for companies. I'm close to booking a speaking engagement in British Columbia as a keynote in January.
Oh, super.
Now helping, so I've broken into the financial industry. So a lot of financial advisors come to me now because and I'm sure you have some friends that are financial advisors.
I am.
So the problem that I saw with financial advisors is that they were used to just doing the belly to belly. Friends, family, who do you know? Social media has opened up a huge door. So I worked with this outstanding financial advisor in Saskatchewan. His name is Louis Simon. Awesome guy. 25 years in the industry, but he didn't know how to grow outside of the 5 to 10 mile radius that he was in. He hired me, and he's in Saskatchewan. That's a whole province. So I showed him on LinkedIn how you can search by city, by state, by province, by country. It had exploded his book of business, so now he has the means to reaching out to people outside of just the belly to belly, which a lot of financial advisors are used to. So for me, I'm a results-driven person. So in any business where you need people for growth, accountants, financial advisors, personal trainers, online coaches, network marketers, accountants, insurance brokers, they all require people to grow.
Right.
So if you can find a way through the means of LinkedIn where you can connect with people that have money, want to learn how to make more money, are open to opportunities, are driven, motivated, have an entrepreneurial spirit, I show people how to connect with them. Right. If you have the most conversations, you will have the best business. So for me, it's all about who's talking to the most people.
Right.
Most people just sit there and wait for people to fall into their lap and say, hey, can I use your services?
No.
You're just going to be sitting at a bus stop where there is no bus on that route anymore.
I couldn't agree more. I've been in the retirement plan field since 1979, and people don't go to the internet. You have to bring the internet to them.
Yes.
They're too busy, they're too lazy, they're too everything, and they won't learn about financial wherewithal and financial basics unless you bring it to them.
Yes.
Not everybody, of course I'm being general, but the fact is most everybody won't be that way.
Absolutely.
The smartest people in the world, believe it or not, are the youngest people now because they've had this 401k hit on their heads for 30 years. The ones that are really hurting are the 45 to 55-year-olds who got caught in between, and that's a problem. But what's most important, and I got off track, is how you can help people get more business, get more relationships, and then get more business. And I want people to call you. His number is 610-389-4088. Speak into this camera for me, Scott, and let them know exactly how to get a hold of you, when they can get a hold of you, and how they can get a hold of you.
So you can get a hold of me whenever you want. The best 2 ways are social media. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Just search Scott Aaron, SCOTTAARON. You can also go to my website, scottaaron.net, or www.linkedleads.generation.com. And literally, I have everything on me at all times. I have clients all over the world, so don't hesitate to reach out. Drop me a line, send me an inbox, DM me on Instagram. I would love to assist you.
Scott, you are so good at what you do that I know that part of what you're thinking about is maybe having a program for yourself.
Absolutely.
I second the emotion, all right? I definitely think that you should consider helping people on LinkedIn because I can tell you personally, I struggle, and I know many, many more people than me that really struggle. They just don't know exactly how to use it most effectively and efficiently.
Yes.
And what Scott really said was cool because I hate sitting next to a computer. You can just talk into your phone if you want to, which he's going to teach me how to do that.
Yes.
Anyway, it's great having you here.
Pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome. This is Scott Tanker with Scott Aaron. He's the boss. I'm just the host. Anyway, this is Scott Tanker, host of Breakfast with the Boss, each and every Thursday from 9:30 to 10 to 10:30. We hope you had a good time today. We hope you learned something from Scott Aaron. If not, give him a call. He'll definitely teach you. So I want you to be there each and every week for us. I want you to have a great week. Stay cool if you're too hot. Stay dry if you're too wet. But don't forget to come back next Thursday. See you later.